Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. I feel like this is becoming a shout out to players and teams series the last little bit here, or we could start calling it the Stop the Hate series. Today we're going to be talking about how Paul George has been having a very good season, despite the fact that no one in the media has really been giving him credit for having a good season. But yet as soon as he has a bad game, everyone is jumping on him and calling him Pandemic P. After he played bad in the playoffs last year, after the nickname he garnered with Playoff P. But he's been good this year, and he hasn't been given any credit. So I want to talk about how good he's been this season and how much of a key factor he has been to the Clippers getting off to a hot start to being one of the top teams in the Western Conference. With that being said, if you guys do enjoy it, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. With that being said, let's just start off with the stat line. 24.7 points per game, 6.3 rebounds per game, along with 5.5 assists and 1.2 steals. This guy is putting up very, very good numbers. And they're obviously not his MVP season numbers, but outside of that, it's his second best point per game season of his career. It's his best assist numbers of his career. And it's his fourth best season for rebounds. Rebounds not being the most important stat of these because he's not necessarily one of the bigger guys on the court anymore on this Clippers team comparatively to some other teams he's been on. But the assist numbers being up there is very nice, and the point tally is very nice as well, obviously. And most importantly is his efficiency. He is shooting 52 or 51.5, I suppose, percent from the field, 50% from deep, hitting nearly 4 a game, and he's shooting 91.8% from the free throw line. He's currently shooting a 50-50-90 split. Never mind a 40-50-90, he's shooting a 50-50-90 split right now, while putting up nearly 25 points a game. That is as efficient as you're going to get for a guard. That is as efficient as you are going to get. That split is absolutely absurd and unheard of. And will that continue? Hard to say, but we're not 15 games in. You can't even say it's just a 5-game run where he's been really hot. This is 15 games into the season now, and he's holding a 50-50-90 split, which is absolutely absurd. And he's back to playing good defense as well. That's a big part of his game as well, is that ability to be an elite two-way player. And he's been much, much better in both facets so far this season. But, I mean, fact of the matter is, as he has been so valuable to this LA Clippers team this year, they have looked like they have had some struggles, and haven't had the smoothest of transitions into year 2 of Kawhi and Paul George, but Paul George has been very good. There's obviously still some issues with this team, with leadership, and the lack of a true playmaking point guard. But he has been a very crucial part of this team. He's only averaging 0.7 points less per game than Kawhi Leonard, while being more efficient than him in all facets. So you really can't knock that, right? You really can't knock that. Nicholas Batum, I think, has been another very underrated, important part of this team. He is someone that kind of just didn't play, essentially, the last few seasons hanging out over in Charlotte. He got his big deal. It was definitely an overpay. Let's just think about it. I'm pretty sure he got paid 4 years, $80 million, right? Maybe it was bigger than that. That's what I remember the contract being. But nonetheless, let me just look at what that contract was. Nicholas Batum. Yeah, it was a nuts deal. It was a nuts deal. I mean, now he's essentially on a minimum, right? He's getting paid 2.7 mil to be with the Clippers, so he's taking a nice little pay cut once the Hornets ended up waiving him. But yeah, it was a 4-year, 120. It wasn't 20 million a year; it was 30 million a year. Okay, so let's just think about it this way, right? He got paid $120 million over 4 years. He got $30 million a year. This is superstar money, right? The season before he got paid, he started 71 games, played 33 minutes a game. His stat line was 9.4 points per game, 4.8 assists, 6 rebounds, shooting 32.4% from deep, and 40% from the field. How did that ever, I know there's a lot of salary cap space in there now here. How did that ever, in any world, warrant $30 million a season? Now he did have a couple of okay seasons. His first 2 seasons with Charlotte, he averaged around 15 points a game, but his efficiency was not good. So he had to really carry this team alongside Kemba. They just try and hope to get into the playoffs, as they did for a while. And he continued to start for the 2 years after that, but his production continued to dip. And then 2019-2020 season, he didn't really play. And now, he's obviously not putting up amazing numbers, but he's only 32, so he's still got a few years in him. And he's not putting up much worse numbers than he was putting up in Portland. He's averaging 10 points a game, while getting 5 rebounds and 2.5 assists, along with 1.3 steals. And he's been much, much more efficient because he is in his role that he should have been in before now, which is a secondary role. He's averaging 51% from the field and 47% from deep on making 2 threes a game. And this is the role Nicholas Batum always should have been. It's a secondary role where he can be a good wing defender, which he has been for this team, and hit some open 3-point shots. And that's what he's been doing this season with the Clippers, and he's been doing it very, very well. And so fair play to him at age 32 to finally get out of Charlotte. He got his bag in Charlotte, and now he gets to play on a contender, and is playing quite well. So fair play to Nicholas Batum. He's been a very important part of this team. But with that being said, Paul George has been the man. If I had to pick today who the best player was on the LA Clippers so far this season, it would be Paul George for me. Obviously, you could definitely argue Kawhi Leonard, but Paul George to me has been the best player on this team. He's been very efficient. He's been very good on both ends of the floor, and his scoring has just been back to where you want it to be. His confidence is back to where you want it to be. And I know he gets picked on in the media, and we can criticize him when he has bad games, but we got to stop this negative narrative around him of him not being that good anymore, or being a lot worse than what he used to be, because he is having a very good season, and he deserves that credit as much as anyone else. So that's my thoughts on Paul George and a bit of the LA Clippers so far this season. If you guys did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one.